Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Fran Nick Memorial Field. And we have a good lacrosse matchup for you here today as your Holy Ghost Prep Firebirds are going to take on the visiting Plymouth Whitemarsh High School Colonials. We'll have all the action for you coming up here in just about another 5 minutes. We'll go through the starting lineups. Let's first start with the starting lineups for your Holy Ghost Prep Firebirds. On attack, the three attackmen, it's Jake Gardner, Joshua Rassler, and Will McCann. The three midfielders, it's Frankie Britch, Michael Holt, and Max Rittmeyer. On defense for Holy Ghost, it's Nick Benson, CJ Walker, and Jason Sewell. In goal for the Firebirds, it's Ryan Ford. We'll get to the Plymouth Whitemarsh Colonial lineup on the other side of the introductions here in stadium. David Shapansky with you here, the voice of the Firebirds, and we'll have all the action for you coming up next. It's Game 8 of the season for the Firebirds, who will try to get their 5th win of the season. All right, well, here we go for some lacrosse action here on the Holy Ghost Prep campus. As I promised before we went to break, here's the starting lineup for the visiting Plymouth Whitemarsh High School Colonials. The three attackmen, it's C.J. Petrakis, Luke Wendler, and Caden Lazinski. The midfielders for Plymouth Whitemarsh, it's Luke Weichel, Justin Bainbridge, and Isaiah Bainbridge. The three defensemen for Plymouth Whitemarsh, it's Keith Gallagher, Dylan Imperial, and Tim Soul. And in net for the visiting Colonials, it's Jake Lickwinko. David Chemansky with you here, the voice of the Firebirds on this cloudy, overcast, forgot what day it was for a second after the long spring break, Thursday afternoon. Thank you, Matt. Getting set for things here on the Holy Ghost Prep campus. Firebirds coming into this game with a record of 4-3. They're going to try to get back off of their losing streak, which they're on here recently. They played a very tough team the other day, and they've kind of had off since the spring break here on the campus. A nice spring break. Hopefully everybody enjoyed it. And looks like they're going to finish up some introductions on the field, and we'll have more coming up on the other side of this. It's Plymouth Whitemarsh High School taking on the Holy Ghost Prep Firebirds, and we'll have all the action for you here on the Holy Ghost Prep YouTube channel. Here we go, and we are ready for things. Mr. Dembick has the scoreboard properly set. The score was not 11-2. It may have said that for a little bit. Well, the scoreboard in-house. But nothing is a score as we're getting things set right at about on time. 5 minutes after 3:50. Here we go. Things get started for the Firebirds. They kind of win the draw there. Good job by Frankie Britch. Here's Max Rittenmeyer, who has the ball in the Holy Ghost Prep offensive territory. According to Max Preps, Plymouth Whitemarsh coming into this game with a record of 2-3, but my producer Matt and I are not so sure that that is the correct record. Going the other way. Firebirds turn it over. Here come the Colonials. Plymouth Whitemarsh, it's number 1, Justin Bainbridge. Bainbridge being guarded by Holt. Holt shields him away. Firebirds' last game was a tough loss, 14-8 against Pencrest. Firebirds were down big in the fourth quarter, came back to score 4 unanswered, but it was not enough the other day. Much colder today, though, than it was the other day. It was in the 80s, had to have the tent out for to keep the sun kind of away from the broadcast booth, but today we're only in the upper 50s and windy here at game time. Here's Petrakis on the far side. They go behind the net to Lazinski. Ryan Ford, the starting netminder for the Firebirds, as he has been all season long, and he's done a really good job in his senior year. Bainbridge says it's time to go. Justin tries to get around Holt, and good job by Michael Holt, who comes away with it. Now Holt comes full steam ahead. Holt tried to get it to McCann, but McCann couldn't get it into his net, and it's picked up by the defenseman Tim Soul. Soul sees 2 Firebirds coming after him and smartly gets it to the right of Jake Lickwinko, the goaltender for the visiting Plymouth Whitemarsh Colonials. Still nothing. If you're just joining us here on the Holy Ghost Prep YouTube channel, don't forget to like and subscribe. Here's a ball at midfield. It's scooped up, ground ball there by the visiting Colonials, who are wearing their road red jerseys today. Good pressure there coming from looked like that was 17 on the far side, Lippy, who may be getting some action here today. Nick Benson starts, though, for Lippy in the starting lineup today. That was the change there. And we're going to have a penalty coming up here against the visiting Colonials, and Firebirds are going to go man up. We'll see who the penalty is against. Now, our broadcasting booth is on the far opposite side of where the field, where the penalty call will be made. But Mr. Dembick, who is our great scoreboard operator here, he is going to text me, so we should be able to get everything going here. So Firebirds going to go on the man-up opportunity here for the first time today, just about 2 minutes into this one. Here's Max Rittenmeyer. He lines up, takes the shot. Good job by Lickwinko to stop it there. Hit off of the bottom of his sneaker, or cleat, I should say. Firebirds still fighting for it. Good job by Rittenmeyer. Rittenmeyer tried to scoop and give it off to number 15, Razzler. Razzler gets it to McCann. The junior now operates things for Holy Ghost. Will tries to make a move, was looking to get it off to Razzler, but it was tipped there by number 4. That's Dylan Imperial, the defenseman for Plymouth Whitemarsh. The penalty is on number 3 for Plymouth Whitemarsh. and it is a trip. So 1 minute penalty coming up here. Firebirds already about 30 seconds into that, maybe 40 here. Rittmeyer takes a shot, and this one goes high and to the right of Lickwinko. So the penalty is on number 3, Luke Lavolia, for the visiting Colonials. Just about 10 or 15 seconds left here in the penalty. The tripping call early here against the Colonials. Firebirds going to try to get something going. Stolsteimer finds Rittmeyer, and Max puts it through on the back of the net. We have a man-up goal for the Firebirds just as the time was expiring. It's 1-0 HGP. Goal by Rittmeyer. So Max gets things started for the Firebirds. Good start for HGP, just about a little bit more than 3 minutes into this one. David Chapansky with you here, the voice of the Firebirds. Face-off is won by Plymouth Whitemarsh number 1, Justin Bainbridge. Rittmeyer's been so good all year for the Firebirds, and he adds to his scoring here today with a goal to get things started for the Firebirds here on this Thursday afternoon. Here's Weichel. Weichel is able to find Bainbridge. Justin Bainbridge tried to get it behind the net to Caden Lazinski, but it goes close to the net. Plymouth Whitemarsh will keep. Lazinski behind his net. Good defense here by the Firebirds and Nick Benson. So Benson scoops the ground ball, picks it up, and now goes the other way. Coming out of his net is Ryan Ford, and Ford now is going to take the Firebirds up. Ford gives it off near the Plymouth Whitemarsh bench. It's Nick Benson. Benson now bursts with a bunch of speed, running up towards the net. Sorry, that's Frankie Britch, correction. Frankie now stops once he gets to the line, being guarded by Isaiah Bainbridge. Frankie now scoops it off to Rittmeyer and runs off the field. Firebirds going to get some fresh legs out there. 7 minutes, 45 seconds left to play here in the first quarter of action. Firebirds leading the visiting Colonials. It's 1-0. David Chapansky with you here. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the Holy Ghost Prep YouTube channel. Tomorrow we'll have Firebird Morning News along with a bunch of other spring sports throughout the rest of the season. Lacrosse, baseball, maybe even some ultimate. Here's Stolsteimer. Dave makes the move, takes the shot, and this one bounces off towards the end of the stick of the netminder, Jake Lickwinko. Firebirds going to keep here behind the net of Lickwinko. McCann thinks about it. Takes a couple sticks there to the arm and gets it off to Stolsteimer. Dave now makes a move to Max, and Rittmeyer slows things down. Max with the first goal of the day for both teams, but especially for the Firebirds. Got things started just about 2.5 minutes ago. Shot lined up, taken by Stolsteimer, and this one had a lot of velocity behind it, but sailed high. McCann closest to the net, which will allow the Firebirds to keep. Here's McCann getting in front of the net. Dangerous play here, but the Colonials come away with a good ground ball. They are picked up by number 30 there for Plymouth Whitemarsh. So Plymouth Whitemarsh now making a move down in their offensive zone. Good defense here by Jason Sewell, making sure that Wendler does not get too close to Ford and have a good shot opportunity here. Just about halfway through this first quarter of action, Firebirds up 1-0, thanks to Max Rittmeyer. Making move, it's Petrakis. Petrakis gets around Walker, shoots, and scores. Good shot there by C.J. Petrakis, who finds the back of the net, and we're tied at 1 with 6 minutes left to play here in the first quarter. So Petrakis finds the back of the net for the Colonials, and we're tied at 1. Pretty low-scoring affair so far here in the first quarter. Face-off at center. Frankie Britch fights for it, but looks like Plymouth Whitemarsh is trying to pick it up. They had a good opportunity there, had the advantage. Firebird still fighting for it. I'll have a whistle blown here. And looks like it will be Plymouth Whitemarsh ball. So the Colonials already just scoring about 15 seconds ago. Going to come away with some good offensive time here once again. Firebirds going to have to stand strong there. Their defense. Firebirds defense last time allowed 14 goals. Now, to their credit, coming into that game, Pencrest was 8-0. They improved to 9-0 after that one, so maybe not a big part of that. Looking to take the shot there was Petrakis, or sorry, not Petrakis. That was not 17. That was 11. Luke Wendler, but this one bounced to the right of Ford and never got past the circle. So Firebirds tied with Plymouth Whitemarsh. It's 1-1 with a little bit more than 5 minutes left to play here in the first quarter of action. Plymouth Whitemarsh getting things set up in their offensive zone. Firebirds and Ryan Ford trying to stand strong. Good defense here by Rittmeyer. Now making a move and getting around there. That was a good shot opportunity there by number 13, as that was Ben Backenstos there. The junior, who had a good shot opportunity there, but went a little bit wide. Here's Justin Bainbridge. Bainbridge being guarded by Mike Holt, who had a very good play to really spring the Firebirds forward to get that goal by Rittmeyer, and Ford intercepts the pass. Looked like it was trying to get to Petrakis, but it never got there. Ford trying to spring Mike Holt. Holt dropped it for a second, still fighting for it. Couple jerseys there for both teams in on it. Plymouth Whitemarsh is swarming the scene there. This is on the far side of the field, closest to the bench, and it's picked up by the red jerseys, and we're going to have maybe a penalty here, not coming up. No good. It was clean by Holt. Good job by Mike Holt there, and still fighting for it. Firebirds and Colonials this time. It's near the Plymouth Whitemarsh bench, and we're going to have another stoppage of play coming up here. And it looks like it's going to be Firebirds possession. So the last 45 seconds of that or so was just both teams trying to get the ball, but Firebirds going to come away with it. Dangerous pass there from Walker, but it's Rittmeyer who has it. Max looking for a second goal of the day, slows things down, falls to the ground as he slips. Fighting for it, it's the Firebirds and Will McCann, but over there it is also number 30 for Plymouth Whitemarsh, as that is Frankie Lynch. McCann now gets it to Rittmeyer. Firebirds trying to get their 5th win of the season here in game number 8. They're 4-3 coming into this one. According to Max Preps, Plymouth Whitemarsh coming into this game with a record of 2-3, but they have some games that are unscored, so we're not so sure how accurate that is. David Shabansky with you here, the voice of the Firebirds. Here's Stolsteimer. He takes the shot. It's blocked out in front by Tim Soul, the defenseman, and that will allow Plymouth Whitemarsh to clear the zone. Firebirds still fighting for it, but coming away with it, it is number 22. That is Ricky Mattoni. And Mattoni now on the far side of the field, storming past the scoring table, and looks like we're going to have a timeout called here by Plymouth Whitemarsh. So Plymouth Whitemarsh going to call timeout here with 3 minutes and 16 seconds left to play here in the first quarter of action. We're all tied up 1-1. Good match here between your Firebirds and the visiting Colonials. More on the other side of this voice break. Welcome back here to the timeout called by the visiting Colonials. David Shabansky with you here, the voice of the Firebirds. Holy Ghost Prep, Plymouth Whitemarsh in a good battle here. Just about 3 minutes left to play here in the first quarter. All tied up at 1. Glad you could join us on this Thursday afternoon for some lacrosse action. was very cloudy when we started, but the sun trying to come out here. We're in the high 50s with a considerable wind here, but both teams doesn't seem to be bothering them. It's much better than the weather we had, I'm telling you, about 3 weeks ago. I mean, it was in the 30s with snow squalls, so much better than that. Shot taken here by an attackman. Firebirds fighting for it and picking up its Frankie Britch. So good job by Frankie and C.J. Walker. The duo works together defensively to clear the zone, and Firebirds now are going to go the other way. This is number 18, who's not on our score sheet for the Firebirds. We'll see if we could find out who exactly that is. But they're going to pass it off. Looked like to Rittenmeyer, but he could not pull it in. And taking over for Plymouth Whitemarsh, it is number 3, and that is Lavolia. But Firebirds going to get it back here. So good job by HGP to storm the other way. Here's Rittenmeyer looking for his second goal of the day, and it got behind Lickwinko. So Max Rittenmeyer going to get his second goal of the day. Has a good play there. It bounced just past the netminder for the Plymouth Whitemarsh Colonials. It's 2-1, HGP. So Max's second goal of the day for the Firebirds. So good start from him. Nothing unusual, though, for Max. Always finding his way scoring goals. Firebirds going to start with it again here after the faceoff. Good job winning it there for Frankie Britch. 2 minutes left to play here in the first quarter of action. Good game. It's a defensive battle so far here. Firebirds setting things up on the far side of the field closest to I-95. It's Rittenmeyer who finds Stolzheimer, who finds Aniloff. Aniloff at the top, facing Lickwinko, the netminder for the visiting Colonials. Rittenmeyer gets the feed from Stolzheimer. Max going to work here against Justin Brainbridge. Max being swarmed by a bunch of red jerseys, fighting for it. He needs some help. And good job by Stolzheimer there, the lone Firebird to get it, but his pass is way high. Aniloff runs towards the far side, picks it up, and falling down is Keith Gallagher, the defenseman. And we'll see what the call is here. Gallagher fell to his knees, and we'll see exactly what the call is here. Mr. Demick waiting for the sign, but it looks like both teams are going to come off the field, so it looked like it's going to be a timeout called. Yeah, it is a timeout called, so Firebirds still in possession at the time of this timeout. Try saying that 10 times fast. So Holy Ghost Prep going to take a break here. They'll talk things over. We have just 73 seconds left to play in the first quarter. It's 2-1 HGP. Two to 1 HGP through almost one full quarter, just about 60 seconds, 73 seconds to be exact left to play here in the first quarter. David Shapansky with you here, the voice of the Firebirds. HGP leading the visiting Plymouth Whitemarsh High School Colonials by a score of 2-1. As a reminder, nothing wrong with a self-plug here. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the Holy Ghost Prep YouTube channel. Tomorrow we will have Firebirds Morning News, which is usually about a 10 to 20-minute morning news show where we'll talk everything HGP, give a sports update. We usually have a trivia question for a prize, have some special guests, and so much more. So check it out tomorrow morning. We go live at 10 o'clock on each Friday or every last day of the week. So check it out tomorrow right here on the Holy Ghost Prep YouTube channel. And we'll have more spring sports events throughout the rest of the spring sports season. Some baseball, some more lacrosse. Even though the Firebirds lacrosse varsity home schedule is winding down, they had a lot of their home games in the beginning part of the season. They'll go on a long road trip coming up here, and Jake Aniloff bounces one in front of Lickwinko, and it gets past him. Firebirds going to extend their lead to 2. Beautiful goal there from Jake Aniloff. Nothing special, but nonetheless, it was classic, and it got the job done. So Aniloff gets the Firebirds their third goal of the day. We have 40 seconds left to play here in the first quarter of action. Good-looking first quarter for the Firebirds here. They did give up the one goal to Petrakis about midway through this first, but their offense has looked really good. They've had a lot of time, and Firebirds there gonna win a penalty. Not a penalty, but they'll turn it over, going the other way. Not liking it was the Firebirds bench, and we're gonna have a penalty coming up here. It's against the Firebirds and Will McCann, it looks like. That's gonna allow the shot taken. Not quite sure who that was from, but it looked like number 3, the Volia, sets up the shot, and it's now 3-2 as Plymouth Whitemarsh cutting back the deficit here, and the penalty flag will be retracted. 3-2 HGP. So pretty sure that Lavolia got the credit for that goal there. I know that he for sure was involved in that play, but it was hard to see. And we're going to have a penalty coming up here against Will McCann. It's 1 minute for slashing. Firebirds penalty is on number 9, Will McCann. 1 minute for slashing against McCann. 1 minute. So penalty is on number 1. Not number 1, but 1 minute penalty for Will McCann. So Firebirds going to have to go man down here. Good face-off win here by Frankie Britch. And this will allow the Firebirds with just 10 seconds to most likely kill the rest of this first quarter. As now the clock hits about 8 seconds. Plymouth Whitemarsh going to try to get a shot off here. Isaiah Bainbridge rushes down the field in the red jerseys. Just 3 seconds. They're running out of time, and that will do it. So as we come to the end of the first quarter, there will still be about 40 seconds left of the man-up penalty for Plymouth Whitemarsh, but Firebirds did a good job there to squash any scoring opportunities there to end the first. It's 3-2 as we get ready to start things in the second quarter. We'll be right back here on the Holy Ghost Prep YouTube channel. On the other side of this commercial break, more Holy Ghost Prep varsity lacrosse action. Stay tuned for much more. Welcome back here. Second quarter lacrosse action coming up at you here on this cold Thursday afternoon. David Schmansky with you here, the voice of the Firebirds. Holy Ghost Prep taking on Plymouth Whitemarsh High School. It's 3-2 HGP as we get things started here in the second. Thanks to our wonderful producer, Matt. We have an update on varsity and JV baseball. They're away today at Central Bucks West. Varsity, they're in the third, and they are tied 0-0. And the JV squad is also at Central Bucks West, and they are winning 2-1. So good job, JV. Hopefully they can hold on to that lead. Plymouth Whitemarsh going to start with the ball as we begin things here in the second. They'll also have about 30 seconds left here of man-up time here after the penalty, the 1 minute penalty to Will McCann. Here's Bainbridge, who gives it off to Petrakis. Petrakis already has 1 goal of the day for Plymouth Whitemarsh, and this ball goes out of play. They'll do the Colonials. Shot taken, and this one never got through the Firebirds defense. Justin Bainbridge with the shot. Good job by HGP to stand strong there. Never got to Ryan Ford. Firebirds kind of standing on their heels a little bit here in these last couple minutes, and there's a shot taken moving around 2 defenders. Good move there by C.J. Petrakis who gets his second goal of the day, and we're tied up at 3. 2 unanswered goals for Plymouth Whitemarsh here. So Petrakis gets his second of the game for the visiting Colonials. So Firebirds here, like we said, standing on their heels. A lot of defensive time here recently, and that will be a man-up goal, just as it was expiring with about 1 second left. Petrakis finds the back of the net. So both teams with a man-up goal here, one for Rittmeyer, one for Petrakis. Justin Bainbridge sets things up, the midfielder. Gives it off to Wendler. Wendler goes behind the net to Lazinski. There's Bainbridge again, Justin. Weichel. Now back to Bainbridge. Bainbridge being guarded by DeChico. Justin Bainbridge goes all the way behind the net, now gets in front. DeChico tried to stay with him. Good job by Ford falling in the crease there. Looked like was Bainbridge, but Firebirds are going to come away with it there. Scary defensive play there by the Firebirds, but they survive it and come away with the ball. Just 2 minutes in here in this second quarter of play. We're going to have a penalty coming up here. It's against the Colonials. Good pass here, finding McDonough, and couldn't quite go. Good save there by Jake Lickwinko. Firebirds, though, going to keep the ball. They go behind the net. Here's Rittmeyer. Already has 2 goals today for HGP. Rittmeyer finds Stolsteimer. He takes the shot and finds nothing but net. Good assist by Rittmeyer. An even better shot by Dave Stolsteimer, and it's 4-3 HGP. So the penalty here for Plymouth Whitemarsh is on number 13, and that is Ben Backenstos. So Backenstos gets the penalty, and it is 1 minute for a cross-check. All right, so another baseball update here. Firebirds varsity baseball taking on Central Bucks West. They are now up 1-0. It was 0-0 about 2 minutes ago. So good job by them. So JV and varsity baseball both leading, and varsity lacrosse leading here. With 10 minutes left to play here in this first half of action. Good job by the Firebirds here. They had some trouble defensively at the end of that first quarter, and they gave up the 2 unanswered goals to the Colonials to tie the game. But then Max Rittmeyer, really a beautiful pass by Max to Dave Stolsteimer, who put it through the back of the net past Jake Lickwinko. Plymouth Whitemarsh with the ball. It's Justin Bainbridge. Bainbridge being guarded by Jason Sewell. Sewell going both ways, falling down is Sewell, but he'll get back up in time and stay with Bainbridge. Bainbridge closest to the track side here. Bainbridge now how to find an outlet. Good defense by HGP. It's Luke Wendler who he feeds it off to. Wendler now elects to slow things down. Rittmeyer now going to press up just a little bit. David Shapansky with you here, the voice of the Firebirds. Now Sewell gets back on Bainbridge. Now on the far side, it's C.J. Walker, who is guarding number 17. That's C.J. Petrakis, the leading goal scorer in this one so far with 2 for the Colonials. Cross-side pass for number 13, Backenstos, who did have the penalty, but with the goal it was canceled out. Wendler now goes to the left side of Ryan Ford, has been very good in this one as the goaltender for HGP. Sorry about that there, bumped into the mic. Going behind the net, it's Wendler. Wendler now trying to get around Rittmeyer. Good job here by Rittmeyer. Wendler did get a shot off, but it kind of bounced off the shoulder and the stick of Rittmeyer, and Firebirds going to take over. Good Job there by Max and Ryan to stand strong there near the crease. Play can get tough down there sometimes near the circle. Firebirds stand strong. 8 minutes left to play here in this first half. Firebirds up by 1. It's 4-3. Beautiful pass here. It's McDonough who tried to get the feed there. Good chance and opportunity there for the Firebirds. Not quite sure who took that shot. It looked like it was Aniloff who's running away now on the far side trying to get back at his midfield position. And good job here by Aniloff fighting strong here with Gavin McDonough. McDonough still storming up the far side, but coming away with it. It's the red jerseys. This ball close to going out of play. Fighting for it. It's Wendler, and it will go the other way. So Wendler commits the turnover, and Firebird's going to take over. So not being able to corral it there, and it's intercepted. Wendler, who just turned it over himself. Firebird's going to turn it over there. Looked like it was Holt or Stolzheimer. One of them fed it right to Luke Wendler. So Firebirds now have to get back on defense and stand strong here. Firebirds clinging on to a 4-3 lead, but if you remember, at the end of the first quarter, it was Plymouth Whitemarsh who had that good ending. Here's Justin Bainbridge behind the net. Bainbridge with a nice move gets around Holt. Bainbridge looking for an outlet, takes the shot. It's off the stick or maybe even the leg of Ryan Ford. It bounces about a million miles away. C.J. Walker being guarded by Petrakis. Walker falls down. Petrakis is fighting for it. So is Nick Benson, but the red jerseys of the Colonials going to come away with it. Shot. Wendler thought about taking it. He did. Ford can't find it. Has to get back in the crease. Still fighting for it. It's Wendler, but it looks like it's going to be Ryan Ford who comes away with it. Ford now looking to spring the Firebirds while they have the numbers up here. Here's Aniloff. Aniloff feeds McDonough. McDonough swerving both sides to the right, now back to the left. McDonough didn't have an outlet there. Got it back to Aniloff. And Aniloff now slows things down, kind of like the Sixers did last night before that game-winning shot by Joel Embiid. What a shot was that last night by Joel Embiid with less than a second on the shot clock to give the Firebirds, not the Firebirds, the Sixers, a 3-0 series lead against the Raptors. Always nice to beat Toronto after what happened a few years ago. Firebirds, Aniloff tried to feed it to Razzler. McDonough behind the net, fighting for it. It's Weichel. McDonough falls down, so does another Firebird, and we're going to have a penalty coming up here. One of those looks like it was going to be a tripping here, most likely against the Colonials, so Firebird should go man up. We'll see what the exact call is here. And it is going to be against the Colonials. It's either against number 1, Bainbridge, or it also could be against number 30, who is Lynch. We'll see if we can get a call here. Okay, it's 30-second penalty coming up here against push, or it's a push against number 30, Lynch. So Firebirds man up here. Shot taken by Stolzheimer, looking for his second goal of the day, and this one bounced high above and behind Liquinco. So the penalty there, if you didn't hear it, is a 30-second penalty against number 30. That is Frankie Lynch, the sophomore. And Lynch going to serve a 30-second penalty for a technical push, and that penalty is about to expire already here. There's about 5 seconds left here on the penalty. Rittmeyer finds Stolzheimer, lines up, takes the shot, and maybe just getting a piece of it was Liquinco. Just missing there was Stolzheimer, who's looking for his second goal of the day. Still 4-3 Firebirds. Glad you could join us. David Shapansky with you here. Aniloff feeds Stolzheimer, who feeds the back of the net. Beautiful assist by Aniloff and a beautiful goal by Dave Stolzheimer. It's his second of the day. So Firebirds up 5-3 here. Stolzheimer gets his second of the day. So Firebirds scoring-wise, it's 2 for Rittmeyer, 1 for Aniloff, and 2 for Stolzheimer. Good face-off win here by Frankie Britch, who has been active today. As always, Britch being guarded by Bainbridge. Just 5 minutes left to play here in the first half. It's been a good half for the Firebirds. Let's see if they can end this half strong. Firebirds right now with the ball at midfield. Stolzheimer after the feed from Rittmeyer. McCann. Back to Whitemarsh. Firebirds taking some time off the clock here. Mudrick checks in for the first time today. Newly elected SGA president for next year, Colin Mudrick. Mudrick finds Stolzheimer. Stolzheimer in front, and a beautiful shot there by Joshua Razzler. What a pass, too, from Stolzheimer. Didn't have much of a hole to fit that in, but he did, and got it into the net of Razzler, who put it right behind the netminder for the Colonials, Jake Liquinco. Firebirds double up the score of the Colonials at 6-3. So Firebirds up 6-3. Very good goal there from Razzler. Right in front, good opportunity there. Here's Plymouth Whitemarsh with the ball. Firebirds going to get back on defense. A little sloppy there for about 10 seconds, but Firebirds going to get back. 6-3 lead. Firebirds now with 3 straight unanswered goals since the Colonials came back to tie it at the beginning of the second quarter. Shot taken there from number 13. That is Ben Backenstos, but this one was far wide of Ryan Ford. And looks like we're going to have a timeout called here. We will find out who did call that timeout on the other side of this commercial break. But nonetheless, we'll be right back here on the Holy Ghost Prep YouTube channel. Firebirds extending their lead. They're on a roll at 6-3 over Plymouth Whitemarsh High School. All right, welcome back here on the Holy Ghost Prep YouTube channel. Glad you could join us for some varsity lacrosse action here on this Thursday afternoon. David Shapansky with you here, the voice of the Firebirds. And Firebirds having themselves a good day. They lead 6-3 so far here in the first half. Just 3 minutes and 57 seconds left to play here in the first half of this one. Coming out of the timeout. Firebirds coming into this game with a record of 4-3. They're going to try to get their 5th win of the season. Plymouth Whitemarsh in their road red jerseys going to come away with the ball out of the timeout. Petrakis already has 2 goals today. Trying to make a move, gets around C.J. Walker. But Petrakis passes it in time to Bainbridge. Justin gives it off to Backenstos. Backenstos finds Lavolia. Lavolia trying to get around Aniloff. And this ball is going to go on the far side near the I-95. Picked up there by Colonial. And they'll keep here. So Firebirds playing some good defense. Trying to stand strong here and finish out this first half strong. Looked like maybe a hold there by DeChico, but there was no call. And now the stick is knocked out of the hands of Backenstos. But clean defense here by the Firebirds according to the refs, and we'll take it. Holy Ghost Prep going to come away with it. It's Mateo DeChico. DeChico storms with speed. DeChico now rushes past midfield, being guarded by Lavolia. DeChico now elects to slow things down, has McCann on his left. Holt going to rush off the field, so Whitemarsh is going to come on here. Looks like Stolzheimer also going to come out here. So the duo for HGP, the leading scoring duo, going to come out here with less than 3 minutes to play here in the first half. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the Holy Ghost Prep YouTube channel. Here's Whitemarsh, beautiful feed to McDonough, and we're not going to have a goal. Stepping in the crease there was McDonough. It was a good pass by Whitemarsh, but ref's going to say that Gavin McDonough stepped into the circle. And we're going to have a penalty coming up here against McDonough, too. So Firebird's going to go man down. We'll see for how long in a second. Looked like a slash, though, so should be a minute penalty coming up. Lavolia finds Justin Bainbridge. Just 2 minutes, 20 seconds left to play in the half. Don't want to get sloppy now if you're the Firebirds. And still Plymouth Whitemarsh with the ball, so they'll keep on holding on to it until we'll have a stoppage of play coming up here soon. It's Luke Weichel, the midfielder, gives it off to his fellow midfielder, Justin Bainbridge. Bainbridge tries to make a move here around Holt. He takes a shot. That shot really spiraled. Getting a piece of it there was Ryan Ford. And we'll see how long the penalty is coming up here, but it is against McDonough. So Firebird's going to go man down. We'll be right back here on the Holy Ghost Pep YouTube channel. We'll have the penalty and the call coming up. Firebird's leading 6-3. So Gavin McDonough commits a penalty. It's a 30-second penalty. It's a hold against McDonough, not a slash. Correction there. 1 minute, 44 seconds left to play, so not a 1 minute penalty, which is good. Firebirds man down, but only for about 20 more seconds. As Petrakis has it for the Colonials behind the net. Looking for an outlet here, thinking about it some more. Is number 8, that's Jacob Yontef. And Firebird's going to come away with it, and that will expire the penalty. So Firebirds will release here. We have just about 70 seconds left to play here in this first quarter of action. It's Rittmeyer with speed. Max with tons of daylight. Now goes behind the net of Likwinko. Likwinko playing defense here. Firebirds going to try to get some good offensive time zone here. 60 seconds left to play here in the first half. 1 minute. 1 minute left to play. So 1 minute left to play in the first half. Stolsteimer with the ball after the pass from Rittmeyer. Here's Aniloff. Jake making a move. Goes behind the net. Razzler already has 1 goal today. Razzler trying to make a move. Firebirds with 40 seconds left to play. They're going to try to probably hold it as long as they possibly can. Try to get a goal here. Rittmeyer takes a shot, and his shot is high. A lot of velocity behind it, but hit the back of the net behind Jake Likwinko and the Colonial defense. Here's Razzler. Razzler makes a move. It's a ground ball dropped in front of the net, picked up by Bainbridge. Bainbridge scoops it into his net with 22 seconds left to play here in the first half. Bainbridge is going to spring Lavolia. Lavolia, as Rittmeyer tries to get back on defense, he will. Lavolia meets up with CJ Walker. Good defense here by CJ. And also out there, it's a solid number 4 correction. Bobby Williams there, good defense. 6 seconds left to play. And looks like we may have a timeout here coming up. Timeout or a penalty. We have just 4.8 seconds left to play. So timeout coming up here, and we'll take a break here on the Holy Ghost Pep YouTube channel. Firebirds up 6-3, and I believe they will have the ball coming out of the timeout. David Shabansky with you here, the voice of the Firebirds, here on this Thursday afternoon. Varsity Lacrosse, Holy Ghost Prep taking on the visiting Plymouth Whitemarsh Colonials. Firebirds up 6-3 as they come out of the timeout. Firebirds trying to get their 5th win of the season. Just 5 seconds left to play in the first half. It's Rittmeyer who drops his stick, and that will do it. Rittmeyer tried to get a shot off there, but as time was expiring, the clock sounds. So that will do it for the first half of action. Good half for the Firebirds. They lead 6-3. We'll have a halftime report coming up on the other side of this commercial break. HGP playing strong here against Plymouth Whitemarsh High School. Welcome back here to the Fran Nick Memorial Field. It's time for the halftime report as your Holy Ghost Prep Firebirds leading the visiting Plymouth Whitemarsh High School Colonials by a score of 6-3. David Schmansky with you here, the voice of the Firebirds. Pleasure to be with you on this Thursday afternoon. Let's talk about the goal scoring because there was a lot of it for the Firebirds in that first half. We had 2 goals scored by Max Rittenmeyer, 1 by Jake Aniloff, and 2 by Dave Stolsteimer, and also 1 by one by Joshua Rasler. So 1 by Rasler, 1 by Aniloff, 2 by Stolsteimer, and 2 by Rittenmeyer. But the Firebirds had a lot of good offensive zone time there. A lot of good possession in that first half, and they'll try to keep that up here in the second half. Towards the end of the first quarter, it got rough for the Firebirds. They started off really hot. They took a 1-0 lead. Everything was going their way. And then they scored their second goal after Plymouth Whitemarsh tied at 1-1. They took a 2-1 lead and then eventually tacked on another one. That was the goal scored by Aniloff to make it 3-1. Plymouth Whitemarsh tied it up at the beginning of the second quarter, 3-3. But since then, the Firebirds scored 3 unanswered goals, and that's the way they go into halftime. We'll talk about Plymouth Whitemarsh and their start to this one when we come back on the other side of this break. Firebirds leading 6-3. Just about 7 minutes left here in this halftime. Get yourself a drink and a snack if you're watching from home or from work or even in the car. And join us for some second half action and the rest of this halftime report. We'll be right back. Firebirds leading the visiting Plymouth Whitemarsh High School Colonials 6-3. Just about 6 minutes left here in halftime. Both teams getting ready for the second half action. We talked about the Firebirds' hot start, so we'll talk about Plymouth Whitemarsh here in this one as well. They have 2 goals from CJ Petrakis, and he's been the main story. The Firebirds shut him down in the second half. They should easily win this contest. He's their leading goal scorer and has been their main offensive weapon. The other goal in this one was scored by Lavolia. Luke Lavolia got on the score sheet. He actually had the second goal of the day for the visiting Colonial. So 2 from CJ Petrakis, the attackman number 17, and 1 from number 3, Luke Lavolia, who put one behind Ryan Ford. Speaking of Ford, the 2 goalies have been really good in this one, especially Ryan Ford. He's seen a lot of shots, especially at the end of that first quarter of play when the Firebirds defense was really standing on their heels looking to stand strong, and Ryan Ford said no a couple times. As for Jake Lickwinko, he has not had everything go his way in this one. His defense has been shaky at times, but credit to the Firebirds too. They've had a lot of good shots, a lot of good passes, including one, which was probably the play so far of the game, from Max Rittenmeyer, who found Joshua Rasler in front of the net, just in front of the crease of Jake Lickwinko, and put it right by him. It was a beautiful pass from Rittenmeyer and a beautiful goal from Joshua Rasler, who gets on the scoring sheet here in this one. So we're halfway through halftime. When we come back, we'll check at the scores around the league, including some baseball updates as our baseball teams, varsity and JV, are at Central Bucks West. We'll have a scoring update there. We'll also talk about some upcoming campus events and much more here on the Holy Ghost Prep YouTube channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll be right back. It's the halftime report, and you're watching here on the Holy Ghost Prep campus. Welcome back here to the Fran Nick Memorial Field. David Shapansky with you here on this overcast Thursday afternoon. Firebirds taking on the Colonials. They lead 6-3 in varsity lacrosse action. Well, we like to cover all the spring sports here, especially the ones that we live stream. So an update with baseball. Our JV and varsity teams are at Central Bucks West, so not too far of a ride away. The varsity team, varsity baseball HGP, they're up in the third inning 1-0 last time we checked a few minutes ago. And JV, they were up 5-1, but it's now 5-4. And it's now 5-5. So JV 5-5, and varsity up 1-0. Varsity had a nice win the other day. And then they did lose the following game. But the last game we did live stream, we do want to apologize because we did cut early. I mean, we talked about it due to rain. It did not rain there. Probably we had enough time to take down all the equipment, which was great. But we did want to apologize because we weren't able to have. I mean, there was only about another half inning that was left to be played. But we wanted to make sure that we got the camera and all the equipment inside. It is an overcast day, but really no threat of rain here as far as we know. So refs are talking. Both teams are getting set for second half action, and you know what that means? It's game time. Second half action coming up on the other side of this break. Firebirds going to look to add on to their lead and hold off what could be maybe a second half Plymouth Whitemarsh Colonial push, but hopefully not. Firebirds going to try to stem the tide here and keep up their 6-3 lead. We'll be right back here on the Holy Ghost Prep YouTube channel. When we come back, it's action. This was the halftime report. David Shapansky with you here, the voice of the Firebirds. And I'll have second half action for you on the other side of this commercial break. Like and subscribe. Okay, welcome back here, everybody. Second half action coming up. Firebirds lead 6-3. We had a little bit of a paper mishap there. My papers were blowing all over here. Thank you, though, to some good spectators who were able to help out there and get us back on track. So we're ready here. David Shapansky with you here, the voice of the Firebirds. Good to go. Second half action. Sun is coming out, so it's feeling good here in the upper 50s. Plymouth Whitemarsh going to start with the ball. Here's Luke Wendler. Wendler finds Petrakis. Here's a shot taken from Lavolia looking for his second goal of the day, and good job by Ryan Ford to say no. Firebirds defense stands strong. So here comes HGP. It's CJ Walker, the defenseman, crossing midfield. Finds, looks like that is Jake Gardner. As Jake tried to get it to Razzler. But right there is Jake Lewinko, who's been pretty good in this one for Plymouth Whitemarsh. The goalie, Firebirds coming away with it again after a turnover. Beautiful chance in front, and Gardner was denied there by Lewinko, who looked to get a piece of it. Firebirds going to keep, though, here, getting some good offensive time here early in this second half. Great to be with you here. David Shapansky, the voice of the Firebirds. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Sorry about the echo there for a second. But yeah, wonderful campus events coming up here that we'll run through. Just at prom a few days ago, we have an underclassmen dance. That's coming up on April 29th. Today was the last day for tickets, so I believe that they are probably done by now. But we also have a Spirit Week coming up here, so all the students watching and all the parents. Spirit Week will be next week, so it's Monday to Friday. We'll have some Spirits and Cup games and some special theme days where we'll have some dress-down days and different stuff planned into the week. And we'll have more information about that probably coming out tomorrow. We'll talk about it on the morning news and also on Schoology for all the students. So make sure to watch the morning news tomorrow. We'll have a lot to talk about, a lot to discuss. 10 a.m. tomorrow right here on the Holy Ghost Prep YouTube channel. Everything HGP, special guest, trivia, breaking news, and so much more. Plymouth Whitemarsh with a chance here to clear the zone. Firebirds fighting for it, and it looks like coming away with it, it is number 30. That is Lynch. Firebirds at midfield. Nick Benson. Maybe a hold there on one of the midfielder from Plymouth Whitemarsh, but coming away with it is Benson. Far side here, Stolsteimer running over towards the scoring table. Also thank you to Mr. Dembick, who is one of our college guidance counselors. He's done a good job with keeping up with all the penalties today. Here's a shot that comes in quickly on Ryan Ford, but he's there to stop it. C.J. Walker going to take it up for the Firebirds. But yeah, so Mr. Dembick doing a great job keeping us up with all the penalties and the timeouts, because the scorers table is on the other side of the field closest to I-95. That's the way our track is situated behind the school buildings here. The Fran Nick Memorial Field. Beautiful field to play. And we are on the completely opposite side, which is where they're going to install our new huddle camera, which will allow us to stream baseball and lacrosse easier. Here's a bounce shot taken from number 21, Keith Gallagher, the defenseman, puts one behind Ryan Ford. Good shot there from Gallagher. It's now 6-4 HGP. So Gallagher gets on the scoring sheet there, the defenseman. The way the bench kind of reacted, it didn't seem like, well, obviously, you know, defensemen don't score goals all that often. But Gallagher gets the scoring started here in the second half, and that will put an end to the Firebirds' 3 straight unanswered goals, which stem from the beginning of the second quarter. So about 15 minutes or so, they held that 3 consecutive streak. Firebirds going to try to get back on offense and get their 5th win of the season. They're 4-3. Their home schedule, though, is really coming to an end. They only have maybe 1 or 2 more home games, one of them which is Senior Day, and we'll have the coverage for you. Yeah, and there's a couple that are rescheduled, too, that we'll probably make up. Senior Day, though, for baseball and lacrosse are both on the same day. So not quite sure where we'll have commentary from yet, but we'll for sure have both streams up. But most likely we'll have commentary for baseball and the huddle. We'll get all the lacrosse action because we can go 2 streams at once. Good save there from Lewinko as the Firebirds tried to get a quick response there to the goal scored by Keith Gallagher about a minute and a half ago. 8 minutes left to play here in the third quarter. It's not been a great start to this quarter for the Firebirds. Plymouth Whitemarsh has come out of the halftime much better than they ended that second quarter, and we'll see what we have. The call here looks like we'll have a timeout coming up here. Both teams are heading off the field. So we'll find out who called the timeout, but I would assume it was the Colonials. We'll have action here coming up after the timeout. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Firebirds leading at 6-4. Close battle here between the Firebirds and the Colonials. 8 minutes left to play here in this third quarter of action between the Firebirds and the Colonials. It's 6-4 HGP coming out of the timeout, which was called by the visitors, the Colonials. Also, JV going to play after this one. JV Lacrosse, they're always playing after varsity this year, which I think has worked nice for the schedule portion of it, because there were some games last year where the JV was playing before the varsity, and not that that's a bad thing, but just for stream purposes, there were some late streams last year, but not the case this year. Good scheduling by our athletic director, Mr. Conlon. Plymouth Whitemarsh here trying to pick up the ball. It's Luke Wendler, the attackman, as a couple white jerseys on him there for the Firebirds, and it's McDonough who comes away with it. His pass was not directly to Mike Holt, but good job by Mike to get there in time. Holt springs, I believe, McCann. McCann, that was actually DeChico, and this is going to bounce in the circle, and it will go out of play. Firebirds not happy there with the call by the refs, as they thought they should have kept the ball there, but instead, Colonials going to take over. Here's Isaiah Bainbridge, the midfielder. To the left, it's his brother, Justin. Here's a shot taken in front. Good job by Ryan Ford to say no. That was a hard shot there from number 5, who was not on their Max Preps roster, but it was a good shot. And now it's Plymouth Whitemarsh. They have a lot of momentum here in this third quarter. Firebirds defense needs to stop this, and stop this pretty quickly. They scored the first goal of the third quarter, but they also have a lot of time spent in the offensive zone. Firebirds, here's a ground ball out in front of the net. Good job there by C.J. Walker. Walker springs Aniloff. Aniloff runs with full speed ahead. McCann calling for it. Aniloff slows things down, gets it off to McCann. Picked up by Will. Will with a nice spin move. Will McCann takes a shot here. Dangerous play there, but Lewinko says no, as he keeps the deficit for the Colonials at 2. Firebirds going to try to rush up the play here. It's Max Rittmeyer, who already has 2 goals today for the Firebirds. Nothing new for him. Rittmeyer trying to get a hat trick and trying to get the Firebirds their 5th win of the season. Rittmeyer finds McCann. McCann dropped it out of his net. Will fights for it, and he's taken down. His stick was kind of pushed the other way, and that caused McCann to collapse. He gets back up, but not before the Colonials will take over. It's Lewinko who gets it to one of his midfielders, and Justin Bainbridge. And now Bainbridge speeds ahead. Bainbridge finds Petrakis, who's been a dangerous offensive threat. We talked about that at the halftime report. Petrakis gets a good pass off here, but not able to find the back of the net is Bainbridge, Isaiah that is. And taking away and going the other way is the Firebirds. Full speed ahead for HGP. It's number 18. 18 takes the shot, bounces off of the stick of the net of Lewinko, and he's been really good recently. Has been the netminder for the Colonials. McCann going to try to get something going. Looked like he took a slash to the neck. McCann comes away with it. He bounces one into the net. What a goal there, and what a celebration from Will McCann. Unassisted, Firebirds back up by 3. So Firebirds get their 7th goal of the day. Much needed. Their lead is back up to 3. 5 minutes, 23 seconds left to play here in this third quarter of action. Face-off was won by Britch. There's Razzler. Razzler's played a really good game today. Had that beautiful goal early on in this one, in the first half. Here's Frankie Britch, who comes away with it. Frankie stays on the field even after the draw. Frankie now enters the zone, now steps back and slows things down. It looks like Frankie really going to push it back to midfield. They're going to allow the Firebirds to get some fresh legs. Frankie switches off. Stolsteimer comes on. DeChico also came off, which will allow Gardner to come on. Firebirds really slowing down the pace here. It's Stolsteimer. Stolsteimer now gets into his head that he wants to make a move. Dave tried to get a pass in front. Looks like it was intended for Razzler, but he had way too many red jerseys there. And now full speed ahead for Lavolia. It's Lavolia now who comes up for Plymouth Whitemarsh. Lavolia puts on the brakes, tries to get around Rittmeyer. Good job by Max to stay with him. Lavolia now pushes things back to midfield. Lavolia now passes it off to Bainbridge. Bainbridge Gets things set up. Max guarding him. 4 minutes left to play here in the third quarter. HGP up by 3. It's 7-4. Here on this Thursday afternoon, sun beginning to come out near 60 degrees. David Chepansky with you here, the voice of the Firebirds. Shot taken there from Bainbridge, and it got past Ryan Ford. First goal of the day for Justin Bainbridge. He's looked good here in the second half, and Ford wants that one back desperately as it's now 7-5. So Justin Bainbridge finds the back of the net. Firebirds now once again up by 2. We also have a varsity baseball update. Firebirds were leading 1-0. It's now 2-1 as both our varsity and JV squads are up at Central Bucks West. Their JV is still 5-5. Varsity is losing 2-1. Fighting for it in the middle of the field, it's Isaiah Bainbridge, and we're going to have a penalty coming up here. It's against the Firebirds, so not what they wanted. They're going to go man down after just giving up a goal here. Firebirds going to try to stop any scoring with 3 minutes, 30 seconds left to play here in the third quarter. And now Plymouth Whitemarsh in no particular hurry. They're only down by 2, and they're going to have the man up coming up here. It's Justin Bainbridge who just scored the goal. Bainbridge with plenty of room in front. He had a bounce there. It would have been a beauty if it went in, but Ryan Ford is able to steer it the other way, and we'll see what the penalty call is coming up here. We'll tell you about it when we come back on the Holy Ghost Rep YouTube channel, 7-5 HGP. So the Firebirds penalty is on number 1, Mateo DeChico. It's 1 minute for slashing against DeChico. So Firebirds man down here for the minute. Here's a high shot taken with a lot of velo behind that one for CJ Petrakis. He wanted the hat trick there. That one went wide, closest to the scoreboard. Firebirds still up by 2. David Chepansky with you here, the voice of the Firebirds. Here's Petrakis being guarded by Holt. Shot taken from the left side of Ford, and Ryan is able to pick it up. Dangerous play there by Ford, but he plays his position well and picks it up. There's number 18 for HGP, and falling down there, getting back up. Sorry, number 18 is not on our roster either for JV or varsity, so maybe that's either just a change in number that we don't have yet, or just maybe a new player who's playing a different sport, going to play lacrosse today, which sometimes players will do those split time between multiple sports. So see if we can find out who that is, but not quite sure as of right now. 2 minutes left to play here in the third quarter, and it's been a good one between the Holy Ghost Prep Firebirds and the Plymouth Whitemarsh High School Colonials. Firebirds trying to get their 5th win of the season. They played really good here at the Fran Nick Memorial Field. Have struggled as of late, and that was a bad pass by Stolzheimer. Tried to get it to Aniloff, but going the other way, it's Petrakis. Petrakis finds Bainbridge, who lines up, takes the shot, and a good save by Ryan Ford. So here's Rittenmeyer, Max, and not able to pick it up is Gardner. Gardner fights for it, so does Stolzheimer. Good play by Dave. Dave comes away with it. Stolzheimer, plenty of room in front of the net, and it looks like it's Likwinko who says no. And good play there by the netminder for the Colonials, Jake Likwinko, who keeps it a 2-score game. Firebirds still with it, though. It's McCann. 1 minute, 15 seconds left to play. Firebirds now slow things down. It's McCann who feeds it to Rittenmeyer. Rittenmeyer being guarded by his fellow 21, Keith Gallagher, who also had a goal today. 1 minute left to play. 1 minute left to play in the third quarter. 1 minute left to play here in the third quarter. It's Rittenmeyer. Rittenmeyer makes the move. 2 red jerseys on him, trying to get to him. Collapsing is the defense. It's Rittenmeyer. Tries to make a move. Max now has multiple pushes against him. No penalty. And it looks like Max wanted it, and coming away with it are the Colonials. So now 37 seconds left. Colonials going to try to make a last-second push here in the third quarter as they did to end the first. Firebirds going to try to play good defense and say no. It's Luke Weichel with the ball at midfield. Time is ticking, 25 seconds left to play here in the third quarter. Shot taken by number 2, that was Isaiah Bainbridge. This one bounces above the helmet of Ryan Ford. 20.2 seconds now left to play here in the third quarter. The red jersey's going to stay with it. Good defense here behind the net for Nick Benson, who got the start today for Ryan Lippy. Benson stays with him all the way. Tried to get the pass there to Wendler, but Firebird's going to come away with it. And HGP maybe going to try for a last-second goal. Dangerous pass. It's Aniloff. Aniloff as time expires, and trying to get the shot off was McDonough. He did, but I don't think it would have counted as it was taken after the timer and the horn had sound. All that's left between ending this one is one final quarter, just 12 minutes. Firebirds up by 2. It's 7-5. We're coming in for a landing. Should be a good fourth quarter. We'll be back. HGP up 7-5. Don't forget to like and subscribe. All right, fourth quarter action as the wind really picks up here. Already had one paper debacle today, but looks like we're hanging in there for now. Firebirds leading the visiting Plymouth Whitemarsh Colonials. It's 7-5, but the Colonials have made a good push here to end that third quarter. Good job, though, by the Firebirds. And not Jake McCann, but Will McCann to get on the scoring sheet there. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the stream. Don't forget about Firebirds Morning News tomorrow. Find out more about Spirit Week, which is next week, and so much more. Our special guest tomorrow, we'll give you a little bit of a spoiler. It'll be Mr. Heston, who's going to join us, talk some NBA playoffs, and also Earth Day tomorrow. All that much more, 10 o'clock tomorrow, right here on the Holy Ghost Prep YouTube channel. Santino DeRose and I will have the call for that. David Chmansky with you here, the voice of the Firebirds, as Max Rittmeyer starts out with the ball for HGP. There's Jake Aniloff at midfield. Aniloff in no particular hurry. Firebird spot 2 here. Sun really coming out. Wind's picking up, though. Rittmeyer to Stolsteimer. Max with 2 goals already here on the day. Don't forget to stay after here this stream today for a quick post-game show to recap today's events between the Firebirds and the Colonials. Firebirds hopefully on their way to their 5th win of the season if they play a good defensively sound fourth quarter. Here's Stolsteimer, who takes the shot. Good defense by the Colonials, and Jake Lickwinko has been very good recently. He gave up 6 goals in the first half, but he's only given up 1 so far here through about 14 minutes. Excuse me. There's a shot taken from Bainbridge, and this one bounced in front of Ryan Ford, who says no. Ford springs McDonough. Gavin makes a move. Good move by McDonough. Gavin looked to find Rittmeyer. That's Will McCann who takes the shot. He falls down. It bounces in front of Lickwinko, who gets back in the circle. Picked up by Razzler. Razzler finds Aniloff. Aniloff now slows things down, coming back out on the field. Fresh legs for Stolsteimer. Stolsteimer with Rittmeyer, Aniloff, Razzler, McDonough, and McCann. It's Stolsteimer. Stolsteimer gets it to Rittmeyer, lines up, makes a beautiful move, thinks about taking the shot, a little bit of an underhand, and this one goes above Lickwinko. Good defense by Plymouth Whitemarsh, who says no to the shot from Rittmeyer. Just 10 minutes left to play here in the fourth quarter. Here's McCann. McCann swerves, gets around Lynch, and this one finds the back of the net, possibly. Not quite sure on what the goal call is here, but it looks like McCann's going to get it. It's the 8th goal of the day for the Firebirds, and Will McCann extends the lead to 3. Plymouth Whitemarsh going to win the draw here. Rich fighting for a good save there by Ryan Ford on a high shot by Justin Bainbridge. So goal there by Will McCann. It's his second. So now 3 Firebirds have 2 goals. 2 by Rittmeyer, 2 by Stolsteimer, and 2 by McCann. Firebirds fighting for it on the far side near their bench. Couple pushing and shoving games. Coming away with it, though, it's the Colonials. And it's Lavolia. Lavolia finds Wendler. Wendler back to Lavolia. Now behind the net, it's Caden Lazinski. Lazinski in front. Good save by Ford. Got a stick of it. Couldn't get it into his net, though. Sewell fighting for it. Falling down is Wendler. Wendler gets back up, but Ryan Ford and Jason Sewell have good defense there. Here's C.J. Walker, the defenseman. Takes it up for HGP. C.J. with speed ahead. Less than 9 minutes to play. Firebirds lead by 3. Here's Aniloff. Jake gets things set up in the offensive zone for HGP. He'll take it in. Aniloff has McDonough to his left, also McCann, Razzler, and Rittmeyer. Now Stolsteimer also joins as Britch goes out after the faceoff. Dave thinks about it, going to work here against Bainbridge. The shot is taken high by Rittmeyer. Goes past Lickwinko. Firebirds still up by 3. HGP with possession. Here's Aniloff. Aniloff finds Stolsteimer. Dave tries to get around Bainbridge. He does. Dave in the back of the net. It's McCann. McCann swerves, makes a move, gets around, tried to spring Razzler, and this is going to go out of play as Aniloff couldn't catch up to the quick rolling ball. 8 minutes left to play here in this game. Overall, Firebirds lead 8-5. So here are the Colonials taking it up. We'll see if we can get a varsity and JV baseball update coming up here in a little bit. No change in any of the scores, so still varsity down 2-1 against Central Bucks West, and JV still locked up in a battle. It's 5-5 over there. Wind really picking up. Here is Ben Backenstoss, sorry. As the wind blows, both teams really trying to set things up here and maybe give it some time. Backenstoss gives it off to Bainbridge. It's Justin Bainbridge, the midfielder. Made a pass there to Wendler. Wendler behind the net to Lazinski. Lazinski now on the right side of Ryan Ford. Clock, though, is ticking here. Just 7 minutes to play. Plymouth Whitemarsh still needing 3 goals. Firebirds trying to stand strong defensively and get their 5th win of the season in their 8th game. Shot taken by number 11. That's Luke Wendler. Ryan Ford is there to say no. Ford now swerves to the right of his net. Thinks about an outlet here and does have Benson as well as Walker. Going to give it off to CJ. David Shapansky with you here, the voice of the Firebirds here at the Fran Nick Memorial Field. Beautiful day for some lacrosse. Windy, but sun coming out now. It's Ryan Ford who takes it from his crease. And Ford is going to have to get back as picking it up is number 21. That's Keith Gallagher. Gallagher Off to, I believe that's Imperial on the far side. No, sorry, correction, it's number 5 is not on our roster. Good job by Ford who gets a piece of the stick, and 2 players are down. One is number 5 in the red jerseys, and the other one looks to be C.J. Walker. C.J. seems to be in a lot of pain over there. Walker trying to get up, and he does with the assistance of Jason Sewell. Looks like Walker will head over to the bench. We'll take a break here on the Holy Ghost Prep Campus. Firebirds up by 3. It's 8-5. Varsity lacrosse action. It's HGP versus Plymouth Whitemarsh. Firebirds up 8-5, the way we like to see it. Just 6 minutes left to play here in the fourth quarter. Firebirds trying to hang on. Here's Luke Wendler. Wendler makes a move, takes a shot. This one had some velocity behind it, but Mateo DeChico is able to shield Ford enough. Plymouth Whitemarsh will keep. Number 13, back in Stos. Good defense by DeChico. Good chance there in front for number 3, Lavolia, but Ryan Ford says no. Good job by Ryan. Lavolia could have had it all his way. He was right in front. Here's number 18 for HGP. 18 gives it off to, I believe that's Rittmeyer. Max now running in the offensive zone. Rittmeyer goes behind Lickwicko. Trying to get it in is McDonough, and do we have a goal? We do not. McDonough and Aniloff were fighting for it there after Rittmeyer tried to get the assist, but Firebirds still up 8-5. No goal there for HGP. 5 minutes to play, though, as the clock ticks down. It's Justin Bainbridge, who already has a goal today for the visiting Colonials. Bainbridge thinks about it. Hulk going to tighten up the defense. Behind the net of Ryan Ford goes Justin Bainbridge, the midfielder. Bainbridge to number 17, C.J. Petrakis. First time we really said his name here in the fourth quarter. He had a very good first half with 2 goals. Petrakis looks like tried to get it off to Bainbridge, Isaiah, and this is lost, picked up by Walker, and Walker has a stick taken out of his hands. It was chopped. And it will go to Plymouth Whitemarsh. As CJ was playing without a stick there, he's Petrakis. Go behind the net to number 5, who's not on our Max Preps roster. Sorry about that. Here is Petrakis behind the net to Walker. Out in front, maybe had a shot there, was number 5. Instead, they pass it out to Bainbridge, and Justin's shot is high and past Ryan Ford. Just 4 minutes and 11 seconds left to play here in this one. Glad you could join us on this Thursday afternoon as we wind down some varsity lacrosse. Firebirds about to go on a long road trip, but there are a couple rescheduled games. I believe 1 or 2 that were rained out, and then we do have Senior Day coming up in a few weeks. We have a stoppage of play here, not quite sure why. Looks like Plymouth Whitemarsh changing a couple players, maybe injury related. As Petrakis going to go to the bench. Lazinski comes out for the Colonials. There's Lazinski, who gets his name called right away. Lavolia to Wendler. Firebirds still up by 3. And this is also going to go out of play. Lazinski being guarded by Rittmeyer. Good job by Max. Good scoop on the ground ball. And now Max is going to go the other way for HGP. No particular hurry. Firebird spot 3 with less than 4 minutes to play here in this one. Will McCann at midfield. Being guarded by Lavolia. McCann finds Aniloff. Aniloff slows things down. First time Firebirds had some offensive zone time here in a little bit. David Chapansky with you here, the voice of the Firebirds. It's Stolsteimer. Stolsteimer to McCann, back to Stolsteimer, having a catch. Dave thinks about it, now switching to go behind the defense, Jake Leckwinko. Here is Rittmeyer, or sorry, Stolsteimer. Dave has 2 red jerseys on him, and no goal. Still fighting for it into the crease. Go the Firebirds trying to come away with it, and good chop there by McDonough. Rittenmeyer seemed to be setting up the offense as McDonough has it behind the net of Liquidgo. Gavin finds Rittenmeyer. Rittenmeyer finds Aniloff. As a reminder, stay tuned for a quick post-game show in this one. To recap the day's events, Firebirds look to be on their way to their 5th win of the season. Aniloff finds the back of the net, and that should do it. Jacob Aniloff with a beautiful goal there behind Lewinko, and it's his 2nd of the day. Good job by Jake Aniloff. It's their 9th goal overall for HGP. It's now 9-5. Okay, so good goal there by Aniloff, and that should seal it. Firebirds up 9-5. Bobby Williams going to scoop it with just about 2 minutes left to play. We have a baseball update against Central Bucks West. Still the varsity team. They are 0-0 right now. Sorry, not 0-0. They are losing 2-1. The JV team, though, however, they are now losing. It was 5-5. They had a 5-1 lead in the beginning of that ball game, but it's now 6-5. So maybe get one more update before the stream ends, but we'll see what happens. Game Changer doing a good job to keep us up there. We're going to have a timeout called for HGP. So Firebirds going to get things set up, talk it over. We're just 2 minutes left to play. Firebirds seem to have sealed this one against Plymouth Whitemarsh, but we'll see. Who knows? We'll be right back. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Commercial break time. David Chapansky with you here, the voice of the Firebirds. 1 minute and 56 seconds left to play here in the 4th quarter. Here in this one, Firebirds up 9-5, and this was a really good game for HGP. They struggled recently. They were on a losing streak, and they really have rebounded nicely here against Plymouth Whitemarsh. They come into this game 2-3 due to the Colonials, but they are a tough team from what we have heard, and the Firebirds, they're going to get their 5th win of the season. And improve to 5-3, so that's very good for them. They've had a lot of goal scoring, and we'll talk about that in the post-game show after this one, once this one wraps up. It's Gavin McDonough with the ball out of the timeout, which was called by the Firebirds. I believe it is their last timeout they have in this one. McDonough to Aniloff. Jake back to McDonough. Firebirds no particular hurry. There should be no reason why they are, or they would be in a hurry. Aniloff. JV game coming up after this one, although we don't stream it. If you don't have nothing to do tonight, come on by the Fran Nick Memorial Field. Here's Will McCann. McCann has a lot of jerseys on him. He's pushed to the ground by Lynch, and Firebirds bench not happy about that one. And we're going to have a penalty clear push coming up here against Lynch. It's his 2nd penalty of the day. So the foul, the penalty is on Lynch. It's 30 seconds for unnecessary roughness there against Will McCann. Just 1 minute left to play here in the 4th quarter. Last 60 seconds. Rittenmeyer finds Stolsteimer. Dave gets around Bainbridge, takes the shot, and scores. Stolsteimer has the hat-trick assist by Rittenmeyer. It's now 10-5 as the Firebirds double up the Colonial score. So Firebirds lead 10-5. Stolsteimer completes the hat trick, and he's going to get the player of the game for the Firebirds. He was really good in this one. This one's kicked by, looked like Frankie Britch, who did win the faceoff as Bainbridge is pushed to the ground. Frankie comes away with it. Gets attacked there. We're going to have a timeout called by HGP, so apparently they had one more timeout. So HGP going to call a timeout, 40 seconds left to play. We'll stay with you throughout this timeout. 10-5, Firebirds leading, and it's been a good one here for HGP. They're going to get their 5th win of the season. They've played really good at the Fran Nick Memorial Field so far. So Firebirds going to call timeout here. They'll talk things over. Just 37 seconds left to play here. And again, stay tuned for a quick post-game show. We'll recap kind of everything that happened in this one, especially the second half events. And don't forget to like and subscribe Firebirds Morning News tomorrow at 10 a.m. 20 minutes of quick Firebirds news. We have guest trivia questions where our students can win prizes. We'll also talk about Earth Day tomorrow, the NBA playoffs. Mr. Heston will join us as our special guest tomorrow. So plenty of stuff going on here on the Holy Ghost Prep Campus. Our first edition since coming back from spring break. Hope everybody's spring break was well and everybody's Easter and their holidays overall. Also, thank you to Matt, producers, done a great job as always, keeping up with the stream. Mr. Jacobs and Ryan, our assistant IT, who did a great job setting up everything today. The wind was really brutal, and it still is brutal. Probably picked up a couple miles per hour since we came out here, but when we first came out here, the camera was really shaking, but they did a great job to get it set up and get everything going. The wind has been a problem that we've had to cancel some streams in the past, but good job. And this will be the last game that we'll have the camera for the live stream, the stick camera. We're going to switch to a huddle camera like we do with basketball, so a new addition to the Fran Nick Memorial Field that we put in use for many, many years to come. So if you stop by the campus and you kind of see a big wooden pole in the middle of nowhere, the camera is going at the top of that. It's not just there for decoration, I promise. David Chemansky with you here, the voice of the Firebirds. Firebirds going to get their 5th win of the season, improved to 5-3. Plymouth Whitemarsh, on the other hand, they will fall to 2-4. On the season, Firebirds with it. It's Colin Mudrick. Mudrick with a shot, past Legwinko, and it will go out of play. Just 30 seconds left here in this one. Also, JV Baseball update against Central Bucks West. They now trail 7-5. Bainbridge there, and a hold on McDonough. It's going to go the other way. So here's Bainbridge, 24 seconds. Bainbridge, and we're going to have a penalty coming up here against C.J. Walker, but really doesn't matter. There's just 18 seconds left to play here. This one has been all but officially wrapped up. Bainbridge being guarded by Mudrick. Here's Bainbridge looking for a second goal of the day. This one bounces. Firebirds going to try to get to it, but there's just 5 seconds left here. And it will be picked up by Walker, it looked like, but the penalty was never called because it ran out of time. The horn sounds, and that will do it. At the end of this one, your Holy Ghost Prep Firebirds defeat the Plymouth Whitemarsh Colonials by a final score of 10-5. We'll wrap it up and do a quick post game after this short break. All right, well, welcome here to the post-game show, everybody, on this windy Thursday afternoon, but it's we've had worse before, so we can't complain. Your Holy Ghost Prep Firebirds defeated the Plymouth Whitemarsh Colonials by a score of 10-5. Let's recap the second half action, and this one started off on a rough edge for the Firebirds. as the scoring got started for the Colonials in the second half, with a goal scored by Keith Gallagher coming out, the defenseman, and that really put some momentum behind the Colonials. But the Firebirds, after the lead was cut to 2, Firebirds extended it to 3, and then really never looked back. They got some late goals, some late help from Stolzheimer, who is the player of the game. Dave Stolzheimer with the hat trick. He had 3 today. Max Rittenmeyer had 2. Jake Anoloff had 2. So did Will McCann. He also had 2. And Joshua Razzler with probably the goal of the game. Well, really, Max Rittenmeyer set up the assist on that, but Razzler with a very nice goal, the freshman, in the first half of this one. So Firebirds win 10-5. As for both goalies, we'll start with the visiting goalie, Jake Legwinko. He didn't have a lot of things go his way. His defense collapsed. He had a good start in the third quarter. His third quarter, he looked really sharp. But then in the fourth quarter, Firebirds put the pressure on and put the pedal to the metal. And the Firebirds didn't look back. As for Ryan Ford, he was really good. He really only had one play that he would probably really want back. That play came in the third quarter, and that was the goal scored by Keith Gallagher. But nonetheless, the Firebirds do win this one 10-5. They look good. They get their 5th win of the season and improve to 5-3. So that will do it for this one. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We will be actually right back. We're going to come right back. We're going to recap. We'll get a quick baseball score. We'll recap some campus events, and we'll be right back. So stay tuned. We'll have one more timeout coming up here on the end of this live stream. We'll be right back. All right, everybody, welcome back here. Sorry about that quick intermission. I had to take everything over the mic to the PA, but Firebirds win this one 10-5. Do we have a varsity update? 5-2. So Firebirds varsity baseball team is winning 5-2 against Central Bucks West. Sorry, I'm a little out of breath. Kind of ran across both sides of the field, but thank you everybody for joining us here on the Holy Ghost Prep YouTube channel. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm David Shapansky, the voice of the Firebirds. Have a great night. Don't forget to love one another and respect one another. Have a great Earth Day tomorrow as well. Make sure to take care and respect the Earth. Have a great night, everybody. Thank you.